All right, we're getting set for the weekend, and it's Weather for Weather Geeks time. We haven't done one of these on a Friday since before the high school football season back in August, but yeah, we're back to 5 days a week now for the rest of the winter season, and we have some wintry weather to talk about in this video, but not much, and it's coming from Thanksgiving into the following weekend. In the meantime, a cloud season is here, that is for sure. The last couple of days, just slate gray, overcast, and that's pretty much par for the course as we get into November. From November through about March or even early April, we're one of the cloudiest parts of the country in terms of our average daily cloud cover. It's well over half the time that we're overcast now that we're into November. There's a big jump from October to November, historically speaking. And, we've had a pretty sunny stretch, sunnier than average stretch, going back to midsummer. So we were due for a couple of clunkers, and we certainly have had a couple over the last couple of days. These have been the low clouds as well, stratus clouds. They're typically, the ceilings are only 6,000 feet. That means the cloud base is not that far up. Stratocumulus clouds, also kind of a low-hanging type of cloud that we see around here a lot in the cold weather season. Of course, the real high stuff, the cirrus clouds, those are the ones that produce the sundogs and the 22-degree halos, and those little thin ice crystals in those high cirrus clouds can make for some cool sky optics. But not much to look at when you have a low stratus deck like we've had over the last couple of days, and we still have a lot of clouds out there this evening. And we've been going back and forth on this forecast for tonight, rain or no rain, and it turns out it's going to rain. As I mentioned last evening, good thing this was not a snow setup. We'd be gnashing teeth over a snow forecast, but it is rain, and it is coming, and it's going to rain for parts of the night tonight in most of the region. It looked like if it were going to rain, it would be probably south of 224, but this system has shifted far enough to the north that the entire area has a pretty good chance of seeing some wet weather this evening and into the overnight hours as well. So you'll see that on high-resolution Futurecast as the rain becomes more and more common this evening and into the overnight, not only just south of Route 224, but throughout northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania as well. The timing on this is pretty good, though, for the weekend. Last of these showers may still be lurking 6-7 o'clock in the morning, but after that we should be in pretty good shape for the rest of the weekend. It's the last weekend before Thanksgiving. The afternoon will be mostly sunny. We'll have a few clouds slipping in then from time to time Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, we're back to mostly sunny skies, a little bit of a gusty breeze developing on Sunday, and it should be a nice day coming up on Monday. A frosty, cold start, but the afternoon 50 or better with a good deal of sun. As far as weekend temperatures, 46 on Saturday, 48 now our expectation for Sunday. A very seasonable Saturday, just a tick or two above the average for those daytime highs coming up on Sunday. All right, we have a busy travel period coming up in the run-up to Thanksgiving. Typically one of the busier travel stretches of the year on area roads and at the airports as well. If you have anybody flying into town, if you're heading out of town prior to Thanksgiving, we don't have any snow concerns this time around, but there will be some raindrops to dodge, certainly Tuesday, especially in the morning. But a few hit or miss rain showers will be a possibility again Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And actually, the arrival of this colder air keeps getting pushed up a little bit. Now I think the colder air really starts to arrive in earnest before Wednesday is through. So that high of 52 Wednesday, that's probably a morning or midday high. Temperatures will probably fall during the second half of the day, setting the stage for pretty cold stretch from Thanksgiving into the weekend. No records or anything like that, but it'll be cold enough to support, I think, some lake effect snow. It doesn't look like a big setup, but I could see where there's a couple of inches or a few inches in the primary snow belts of northeast Ohio, primarily Lake Geauga, Ashtabula counties in northeast Ohio, Erie County, PA, far southwestern New York, from Buffalo on south. Some places in that region could see a couple or a few or a handful of inches. Around our TV viewing area, might it be enough to maybe coat the grass in some areas north of I-80? I could see that maybe especially Thursday night into Friday, but even that would be an exception. Most of us will just see some mood flurries, and the wind is going to be a factor, and it's just going to be cold outside for Thanksgiving and into the rest of the holiday weekend. But, it's interesting looking at the longer range. We all this talk about a cold December, and I still think that's on the table. But I think at the very start of December, there's going to be a pretty significant warm-up. In this 10-day forecast, we've got pretty cold temperatures around Thanksgiving through Saturday and probably Sunday as well, or maybe at least Saturday. By Sunday, we might start warming back up, and by Monday, the first day of December, this might even be, a little bit of a low-ball estimate. We're probably talking 50 or better, and, it could be well up into the 50s for a couple of days during that first couple of days of December, but that'll be kind of a mirage. I'm not expecting that kind of pattern to last very long. I'm expecting the cold weather, the colder pattern to lock in beyond the first handful of days of December. Now, if you've been watching my videos, if you watched my annual winter forecast about a week and a half ago, we are expecting a colder than average December. Will it be one for the record books? Probably not. But it probably will be our coldest December in at least 8 years. It's probably been since at least 2017 since we've had the kind of December that it seems likely that we're going to have this time around. Hope you and yours have a great Friday night and a great weekend. I'll have weather updates on social media occasionally over the next couple of days. Otherwise, I'll see you back here for Weather Geeks on Monday.